Hello everybody, welcome to another YouTube video. In this video we are in the HMS Albemarle, and we're back in World of Warships, obviously. This is a British heavy cruiser, and I think that the British heavy cruisers are one of the most underrated ships in the game. And the main reason for that is that I think it gets a bad rep because people know that the British cruisers in general are very squishy, as people like to say. Not, a high armor ship. So if you angle incorrectly, show too much broadside, you are going to get punished for it and citadeled and detonated. Now, if you're able to angle properly, then this ship can actually tank. And part of that, of course, is because it has decent angling on it. But another thing that adds to its survivability is the fact that at Tier 8, you start getting the British Super Heal. Now, the Super Heal, essentially, I think at Tier 6 adds, I think it's like 600 something HP per second. That's substantial, right? So that really helps to make this ship survivable, right? It ups the survivability, but also, as you just saw, I launched some torpedoes, and I'm using mainly HE. The HE at Tier 8, the fire starting potential, I believe, is 24%. That's pretty high, right, for a cruiser. And it makes sense. That's what the British are known for. So you have a larger caliber than a light cruiser. You have a higher fire potential than most other cruisers, if not all other cruisers, honestly, at this tier. And then you also add the fact that you have 10-kilometer torps that you can send off around corners. Now, I wouldn't say that that you should use the torpedoes, offensively. I wouldn't go, trying to sneak up on ships and take them out with torpedoes. That's not the point. The point is, or I guess the main goal of this ship is to do what I'm doing right now. Lob HE, set things on fire. You can switch over to AP, and it does have decent penetration. If you're looking at a broadside target, typically, I would say cruiser or honestly just a cruiser. If you're shooting at a DD in this ship, you want to be using HE. If you're shooting at a battleship, unless it's a battleship that has lighter armor around their citadel, which, I mean, let's be real, even then that's pushing it, but you'll want to use HE most of the time. You also get a spotting aircraft, and that really adds to your range, so you can hit targets from over islands. It doesn't have as good of a shell arc as the Americans do, but it's good enough that if you're using that spotting plane, you can lob over islands and be undetected. Now, right here, miraculously, I did not smash into the friendly Colorado, but it was certainly close. Another thing that I love about the British cruisers is just that, and this is like not gameplay related, but I think they look fantastic. Honestly, I think all the British ships in the game just look great. I know that's not a gameplay thing, but for me, that adds to the experience. There's basically our American Tier 8 counterpart, the Baltimore. And Baltimore is again, it's a good ship. I've had great battles in the Baltimore. The HE is not as good. That's to be expected. The AP in the Baltimore is phenomenal. That's kind of what the American line is known for. I am going to eat a torpedo right there. And I'm going to use a heal, which it's debatable a lot of times. Like, that was a 6,000 heal right there. I think that's probably appropriate. It depends on the kind of damage you're taking. If it's something like flooding or fire, you can typically... Oh. Yeah. If it's something like fire or flooding damage, typically you can heal most of that. But if it's like penetration damage, then it's you're not going to get as much healing from that. So I'm lobbing HE at that DD, as I mentioned you should, and there you go. Done. It has a better shell velocity than... Now, the Baltimore, I think, is about on par with that. But let's go back to that comparison. The thing that you have that the Baltimore does not have, while you lack the HE penetration that the Baltimore carries, it's again gonna... Let's just pretend that this isn't happening. You lack the HE penetration of the Baltimore, but you have a higher fire chance than the Baltimore on your HE shells. And, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you have torpedoes. Now, this video is not a great example of using those effectively. I send torps out several times and I don't think I hit anything. But I have had a game, right, where I'm sitting kind of in, a good position to lob shells over a lower part of an island, and suddenly I detect a cruiser that's just zooming around the corner. So what do? I send 4 torps and devastating strike. Got him. So those defensive torpedoes come in handy. They just do. And it kind of sucks not having that in the Baltimore. After you've played this, going back to that kind of sucks. Because if somebody comes around the corner, like, it's just all you got is your guns. And the chances that they, as another cruiser, for example, have torpedoes that they can lob at you, the chance is pretty high. So being that one-off kind of sucks. But again, the British Heavy line is, it's a newer line in the game. I think it was like a year ago that they came out. And I'm just surprised that, like, people don't play it as much. I personally think they're quite maneuverable for a heavy cruiser. They have great fire chance. I've just had good luck in them. Particularly in the Albemarle. Like, I genuinely love this ship. And I'm very excited to see what Tier 9 brings with the Drake. I've seen it in action a few times. But, again, it just is able to kind of absorb damage and then use its heal effectively to hit the reset button, for goodness sake, and just, And there goes those torps again, 4 torpedoes. That's pretty good. 4 torpedoes per side. Decent torpedo speed. Great distance, honestly, compared to other cruisers and other, honestly, even other DDs also at Tier 8. There are some that don't even have 10-kilometer torpedoes. Like, it's a good ship. It really is. So let's turn our attention to now what's happening in the game. Unfortunately, we've kind of been confined to this. Oh man, I'm just getting absolutely bombarded by that Scharnhorst and the what was that? The Pommern. Yes. So it looks like in this, at this point, we've got one guy over on C who's not gonna last much longer. Literally, right as I'm saying that. We've got a Buffalo, which is the Tier 9 American heavy cruiser. We've got a Vanguard, and we've got the Akatsuki. And I don't know. Oh, the Frederick the Gross is on the other side of the map. But at this point, like, I'm kind of realizing, look, there's use of AP, and I didn't get a very good hit on him right there, but 2,900, he's angled, so, you know, it's not awful, it's not great, but that was almost a broadside from one of those ships over there, and I dealt with it pretty well. So we're not really making much progress here. And we have 5 ships left. They have 7. It's not looking good. We have only 1 cap right now. There goes the Buffalo. We're down to 4 ships. All right. This is probably not going to end well. We're in a horrible position. The only way that this could maybe turn around is if the Vanguard and I and the Akatsuki are able to take out this Palmer in Alaska, Baltimore. I just don't think that's going to happen. And then our FDG over there ends up taking out that other... that other Baltimore and the Russian BB. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I can't. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But we're at 105,000 damage. You know, that's not bad. I'm out of heals at this point. I'm gonna just, you know, this last second lob some torps over. Maybe I'll get that Pommern. I don't know. He's sending some shells this way. More AP. I mean HE. And then... yeah. It's not a total surprise, but again, I love these British cruisers. I hope that people start playing them more because the potential is great. 111,000 damage, top of the leader of the team. I'd say it was a pretty good match. Appreciate you guys watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.